everyone, I'm Becky.
And I'm Sarah, and welcome to another round of Sounds Like a Bunch of Hoopla!
Hoopla! We're both from the Taylor Community Library, and we're here to recommend some things for you to use your Hoopla checkouts on.
These are items that we've already borrowed or are planning on borrowing soon. This week we're talking about ebooks and audiobooks.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about what we are currently reading on Hoopla. Sarah, what are you currently reading?
I just started reading this wonderful ebook called The Burning by Laura Bates. It's actually new. It's new this year. It's a YA fiction, and it deals with social themes such as bullying and parent death, which is very sad. I really like it so far because it's not based in America, and I'm really into international fiction. This one is based over in the UK. Her dad passes away. Some stuff happens that we haven't found out about yet. And her mom decides that they are better off if they move before the new school year from London, so bustling, beautiful city, to a really small, like, rural community in Scotland. So I'm starting to learn more about what actually happened after her father passed away and why, and we're just like dipping into the bullying that she had to endure. So it's starting to get pretty suspenseful, and I'm starting to fall into those characters.
Cool.
Yeah. What are you reading?
So I am currently reading 2 audiobooks. They both are only available on audio. So the first one is one that I started and I haven't read since starting the next one. And that is Deja Dead by Kathy Reish, I believe is how you say it. So this is the book that the TV show Bones is inspired by.
That Kathy.
Yes. I've always wanted to read it, but just never did. And so I figured, why not just start now? What's stopping me?
What's stopping you? Nothing. Literally nothing.
So it is pretty different so far from the show because our main character, Dr. Brennan, she has a daughter, which is not true. So it's already pretty different, but I'm very, like, maybe an hour into it. I have not made a lot of progress because then this little indie book, I don't think anyone's ever heard of it, called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins came on.
Oh, yeah. Never heard of it.
I don't think anyone's ever heard of that. It's just, the prequel to the Hunger Games.
Came out less than a week ago, by the way.
Yes. And it's on Hoopla, which, what?
That's great.
It is crazy good. Crazy good. I'm like maybe like 150 pages into it. It's a pretty big book. I think it's like 500 or 600 pages. It's really, really good. If you've forgotten, Hunger Games is real dark. So there's this, I don't even know why I was shocked. Like, Hunger Games has always been dark, but it's been so long since I've been in the world that I'm just like, oh, wow. We're really going there. So what about what you have already read from Hoopla?
I went on I felt like you. I went on an audiobook rampage last week, and I read almost the entire Alan Eskin's Max Rupert series. They have 4 out of 5 of them on Hoopla. 3 out of 4 of them are available as ebooks, but all 4 of them are available as audiobooks. So a little bit about Alan Eskin's. Max Rupert is a awesome detective who's got a dark past but is really good at his job, but all this craziness always seems to follow him. Not books that I ever would think that I would like to read. I think of that kind of stuff as dad fiction. If you ask my father, his name's Dave. You can call him after this. He very much enjoys books like this, or books on like the Civil War. Dad fiction or nonfiction. But I read the first book, The Life We Bury, and I was just sucked in right away. I needed to know more. This college student who has a whole past all of his own, is doing a journalism assignment on a elderly man who's in a senior home who recently got out of prison for murder. And they only let him out because he was terminally ill. He would have died in prison for a thing he didn't do. So yeah, Hoopla doesn't have the 5th book yet, but it has 1 through 4. If you want to jump into that world with Max Rupert, But I really enjoyed that. What have you recently finished that you really liked?
So one that I have read and I didn't expect to like. I initially was not going to read it, and then it came out on Hoopla in both audiobook and ebook.
Oh, which one?
And I kept hearing about it, and I was like, fine, fine, fine. It is Krave by Tracy Wolfe. This is supposed to be the new Twilight.
Oh.
So when I read the description, I was like, no, because the description is like very like Twilight-esque, where it's like this girl goes to a new school and she meets this bad boy, and has she been sent there just to be a pawn? I don't know. It like the description just sounds like no. But it was really, really good. It was so good.
Well, if our viewers can see the cover of the book, it definitely looks like a Twilight book.
Yes, it has the same Twilight covers where it's
black background, one object, little bit of blood.
Yep. It's definitely for Twilight fans, but it was actually really good. I thought it was going to be really bad, but it was actually really good. Anything else that you have read that you want to talk about?
That I've recently read?
Yeah.
How about what I recently reread? And I'm sure you may have as well, because both of these, it's available as an ebook and an audiobook, and it's a bonus borrow, so it doesn't count against you.
Ooh.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone! And I love that the audiobook is available, because as a child, you know, if my mother was too tired to read us several chapters of Harry Potter at night, she just bought the CD books. And the beautiful voice of Jim Dale would come through the speakers and lull me to sleep with all of his fantastic voices for all of the characters.
Yep.
And that is the version that we have on Hoopla. So if you have not listened to Harry Potter with Jim Dale reading it to you, you need to do yourself a favor and go and do it right now.
So now let's talk about what we hope to read, or what has been recently added to Hoopla that we've seen and just haven't got around to reading it yet. What do you got?
I've got one that I'm super excited to listen to, and I think you will be too, Becky. So put on your crown and listen up. There is a book that got released last year. It's called The Other Windsor Girl by Georgie Lalac. Yeah. And I think anybody who is a fan of The Crown on Netflix, or just hearing about the royal family, because it's so mystical to us. But this book is a like a fictional telling of Princess Margaret, the royal rebel, which, if you are a fan of The Crown or some of the like tell-all books about the royal family, there's a lot of stories about Margaret, and she seems like a real BA.
Yes, I agree.
And A, capital A. So I'm excited to listen to this one. I just like being transported into that world. I'm like, how crazy is it to have like a queen? There's just one person. It's royal. There's a whole royal family, and there's one person at the tippity top. By the way, it might not be on Hoopla, but everybody watch The Crown.
Yes, please watch The Crown. So good.
If you're like free week to Netflix, do they do that anymore? Watch the whole Crown and then cancel it.
Or you can wait until we can finally at some point open up for curbside. We do have it on DVD, so
we do. Becky.
Yes.
You know what else I found on Hoopla when I was, just searching around for stuff that looked good?
What did you find?
The Mediator series in ebook by Meg Cabot.
Yes, that was recently added. I saw that. Do
you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yes. So I love this series so much. So this is it's a weird series to talk about. It originally started with
paranormal YA that didn't really, it grew into something incredible, and we followed it for, I feel like 10 years. It was a while.
Yeah. So it's about a girl named Suze who can see and talk to ghosts. And she and her mother have moved to this new place. Her mother has married, and they move into the house with the new husband and his sons. And it turns out the house is haunted by a
hot ghost. By a hot boy ghost named Jesse.
Yep. Yes. And you can imagine what ensues from there. So it originally started as a 6-book series, and then like I don't know, another 10 years after the 6th book came out, we now have 2 more additional books, which I am also positive are on Hoopla as well. I don't believe all the books are on Hoopla, but at least the first 4 for sure are on Hoopla. So definitely start them. Hopefully the rest will be added. If not, you're going to have to just invest in the series. It's so good.
I did find a really cool ebook that I haven't checked out yet, but it's on my list. It's called The Poison Eaters, and it's a collection of short stories that are like fairy tale and folklore adaptations. And it says it's for juveniles too. So I bet that they're pretty tame. But it's got a lot of authors that you may know the names of, like Holly Black, Cressida Cowell, Jonathan Stroud, and like Tony Abbott's in there too. So I think it would be a pretty good foray into the fairy tale adaptation and plays on old fairy tales that kids know a lot about. There's a lot of new fiction like that coming out.
So our last section to talk about is what to maybe save your Hoopla checkouts on. So some things to maybe don't check it out, because we already did and it was a mistake.
I haven't come across anything yet because I am very conservative with my Hoopla checkouts.
See, I'm kind of the opposite. I use my Hoopla checkouts to I use it for things that I'm like super excited about. So like, cool, I don't have to go to the library or use my money to buy it. And then I also use it for things that I'm like, let me just use this free Hoopla checkout to see if this is going to be any good. So I do have 2 save your checkouts on these. So
I hope they're not on my favorites list. Let's check.
My first one is Mindhunter by John E. Douglas. Now, before you freak out because this book is supposed to be great, I agree. That's what I've heard too. I saw it on Hoopla. I was super excited about it. However, the only copy that we have on Hoopla is the abridged version, and that isn't cool. So don't waste your checkout and read not the full book. But then my other book, now I'm kind of mixed. On one hand, save your checkout, but on the other hand, check it out. So that is the entire series. I've only read the first book, but I'm planning on reading more. The entire series by Anna Todd. First book is called After. Now, I've only read the first book, but let me tell you, this book is hot garbage, friends. It is hot garbage, but I hated it so much that I loved it. I couldn't look away. It's like a car wreck, and you cannot not look. You just can't do it. I gotta know what else is gonna happen in this terrible, terrible series.
See, I'm with you. I know you've told me to read this, and I don't want to.
You have to.
But the way you just explained it, I love like B-rate horror films that are so bad they're good. But when it comes to books, I even tried to read, and I don't want to polarize anybody, but 50 Shades of Grey. I tried to read that book. I read the first one. I read part of the second one, and I just couldn't get into it. Not because of the content. I read plenty of stuff that has that kind of content, but the writing style. Holy Jesus. It needed some work. And I don't know if I might feel the same way about these books, Becky.
I think that you might, because they were, I'm pretty sure, originally on
Did it start up as fan fiction?
I'm pretty sure.
And then someone found it and was like, let's publish it, and then it turned into a big thing. I'm not even gonna.
So, I don't know if you've ever heard of this band called One Direction. Supposedly fan fiction about Harry Styles. So take from that what you will, but it's just so bad. I mean, as long as you go into it knowing, and that's how I went into it. I saw so many terrible reviews, but then I saw like, it's either you love it or you hate it. It's
a very polarizing book.
Yeah, extremely polarizing. So I went in expecting to hate it just because by the description, I figured I would hate it. So I went in knowing like, this is going to be bad, but we're going to try it out. And because I went in knowing that, I think it was a better experience.
Whole series on Hoopla. Check it out.
It is.
Or don't check it out.
All right. Anything else?
Oh, there was one book I didn't talk about because I forgot. I'm sorry. It's called TRex Time Machine. So basically, there's 2 hungry dinosaurs looking for food. They find a time machine back in their Paleolithic era, and then they're transported to this magical, surreal future. It's our time. They're here now.
Oh, God.
Hilarity ensues. It's a picture book. I think anyone would enjoy it because dinosaurs are the best.
Yeah.
They have been the best. Michael Crichton just really pounded that fact into us in the 90s, and we have never forgotten it.
That does remind me, there's also another picture book on there, which is Tiny T-Rex and the Impossible Hug. These are super duper cute. The artwork is really cool, and they're just adorable, and I love Tiny T-Rex so much.
Is it an impossible hug because his arms are so little and he can't?
Yes. He has to practice hugging things because his friend Pointy, who is a Stegosaurus, is sad, and he needs a hug. So Tiny has to figure out how he can hug Pointy.
Ooh, a fun fact, too, about the author of Tiny T-Rex, Jonathan Stutzman, is he also wrote one of my favorite books, Llama Destroys the World, and its follow-up, Llama Unleashes the Apocalypse, which if you want to read those ones, the audiobook is available for both of them on Hoopla, or they have the movie, the read-along movie, where it shows the book and reads the book to you at the same time. Or if you would like to listen to me read Llama Destroys the World, you can check on our older story times from March. I did a rendition of that book.
We hope we've given you some new ebooks and audiobooks to check out on Hoopla. If you end up checking any of the ones that we recommend, be sure to come right back here and comment below telling us what you thought.
See you next time on Sounds Like a Bunch of
Hoopla!